Welcome to the Art Project. If this is your first time here, please subscribe. If this video is helpful in any way, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below. Your ability or lack of ability to draw is not based on some blessing or curse or magic, but how much you have practiced. If you can't draw, and this is your first drawing, then that makes sense. But if you can't draw after 1 million tries, otherwise known as practice, then maybe you are cursed. But you also might be blocking the advice of the drawing teacher. Do not block helpful advice. Do not make excuses. If you don't do the assignment, then obviously you won't learn to draw. But if you do the assignment, you might learn to draw. You might even surprise yourself. A couple of quotes from Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. People even feel that they shouldn't take a drawing course because they don't already know how to draw. This is like deciding that you shouldn't take a French class because you don't already speak French. She goes on to say, if your handwriting is readable or if you can print legibly, you have ample dexterity to draw well. Now try this. Hold your finger up in front of your face and on top of someone else's face. And as you're looking at it, you'll have to close one eye so that you know your finger is covering their face. Then, without moving your finger, switch eyes. You'll notice that the person seems to shift from one place to another. This is because your eyes do not see the same thing. They see from two different points of view. Now try this exercise. Hold a pen up between you and another person. Look at the pen, and you'll notice that the people behind the pen become doubled. Then look at the people and you'll notice that the pen becomes doubled. You'll probably have to try this on your own. I'm not able to show it to you in the video very well. But if you close one eye and do the same thing, then you're able to simplify your subject. This is the difference between binocular vision and monocular vision. And with monocular vision, you can look at the object in front of you, say like this pen, and the object behind it doesn't necessarily stay in focus, but it's simplified. It's no longer doubled. So by closing one eye, you can simplify the scene that you're trying to draw. Try it on your own. So for this assignment that we're going to do today, we're going to use the look, hold, draw method. Basically, I'm looking at my feet. I'm holding just one little part of the object in my mind, and then I'm going to draw that one line. So you'll notice I'm drawing my feet. I've got my feet crossed. This assignment is taken from a book called Keys to Drawing and by Bert Dotson. It's a great little exercise. And so I am just going to look at my feet, and I'm usually closing one eye when I do this so that I can simplify what it is that I'm drawing in front of me, flatten it out. And I'm looking at one line, not the whole. I obviously can't draw a whole shoe at one time. I can only draw one line at a time. So I'm focusing on one line. And as you watch me draw, you'll notice I start and I pick up my pen, and then I start again and I pick up my pen and I start again. That's how much I'm drawing at one time. Sometimes I mess up. I'm not worried about it. I'm drawing in pen, so I can't erase it anyway. And then I'm just continuing to look and hold and draw one little piece at a time. I can't say that enough. Don't try to draw a whole object at a time, and try not to symbolize anything. Don't draw it unless you look at it, okay? Only draw what you look at, one part at a time. So this takes quite a bit of time. One of my students today told me, Mr. Brown, this is not even going to look professional. And I said, I totally understand that. This is your first drawing course. But by the time we're done, it should look professional. We're not going to stop drawing until we can draw it professionally. So us drawing teachers, us art teachers, don't expect your first drawing to be a masterpiece or a professional drawing. But we expect you to draw and keep drawing and continue to draw until it finally does look professional. And if it doesn't look professional, then you're not done practicing. You're not complete. You're not finished. Keep going, keep drawing, persevere. Don't give yourself or me excuses. Continue to draw, continue to practice. After you've got 1 million drawings, then you can stop, assess your work, and decide whether you want to keep going from there. But until you've drawn 1 million drawings, you can't really say, I can't draw, because you're still practicing. Learning to draw has certain parameters. That is, if you want to learn how to draw, and most people do, if you want to learn how to draw, you have to do the assignments. Now, if you're learning on your own, that assignment simply is practice, practice, practice. But there are certain things that are going to lend themselves to your ability to draw and draw better. And that's what a lot of drawing teachers are there for, to just go ahead and tell you those things and give you those tips. Now, if you hear those tips and you ignore them, well, then you have only yourself to blame for not being able to draw. Do the assignment and practice the way your drawing instructor tells you to draw. And I'm going to give you a couple of things that most drawing instructors will tell you. And that is, number one, you cannot expect to draw well if your mind is not focused on drawing. And your mind is not focused on drawing if you're talking to your neighbor. If you're trying to hold a conversation while trying to draw at the same time, you're not going to do very well. Unless you've been drawing all your life, in which case you don't really need to learn how to draw. You already know how to draw. But if you don't already know how to draw, part of the reason that you're not doing very well is probably because you're talking to your neighbor. You're trying to hold a conversation while at the same time draw. It just doesn't work. The other thing is, once you have learned to close your mouth and concentrate on what you're doing, well, then you have to do just that. You need to concentrate on what's in front of you. You need to look at one line and draw it, and then look at another line, which I've already been over in this video. Take the advice of your drawing teacher, take the advice of your art teacher, and allow yourself to do what your teacher has asked you to do so that you can expedite the process of learning how to draw. You'll notice, if you've ever watched any movies with the artists in it, that they always try to find a nice quiet place to draw. Or even if they're not in a nice quiet place drawing, they are by themselves. Maybe they're in a coffee shop trying to draw, but they're not sitting at a table with somebody else who's talking their ear off. Or if they are, well, then they've probably been drawing for a long time anyway. Getting someplace quiet and focusing and concentrating and not being distracted by everyone around you is imperative to learning how to draw and learning how to draw well. It's one reason why art teachers and artists have such a hard time teaching students to draw. It's not because they can't be taught or because teachers can't teach them to draw, but because they're so distracted by all the things going on in the room around them. All right, well, anyway, I know I rambled. I hope this makes sense. It is your turn. Go make some art. But first, like this video. Thanks.